And then little thing number four, consider the angles. I would also say of all the people I've taken out before on these excursions and had these conversations in the field with people like I'm in with you guys right now, I would say one of the things I talk about the most is consider the angles. The angle you're going to shoot the picture from. It's it's pretty easy for me to say that, get low because that's when you're shooting wildlife pictures, it's always best, I think, and I'll enhance this thought in a minute. It's always best if you get eye level or lower. Pretty easy for me to say, but at the same time, I understand the older we all get, the harder it is to get up and down off the ground. In fact, I've got a knee injury, and I get it. I've got a knee injury. I had knee surgery when I was 19, uh, arthroscopic surgery. The thing is coming back to haunt me, and over the past 3 or 4 months, my knee's really been hurting. It hadn't been easy to get up and down off the ground, and so I finally went to the doctor and got that dealt with. Uh, but again, when you can, and if it's possible, consider the angles. And what I mean by angles is really as a starting point, and this isn't universal. Uh, I know people are going to say, "Well, wait a second. I've shot this picture. It's at a different angle. It looked fine." And you're not. You're probably right. You are right. This is not a universal rule, but it's a good place to start. It's one of those little things to think about when you're out in the field and you're kind of figuring out how do I accomplish this my photographic goals and be able to shoot a nice picture. And so for starters, with wildlife, like I said, a low angle is good. But for landscape photography, I usually start with a higher angle. I'll show that in a minute. Landscape photography, this bison, this picture was shot almost a year ago on our Redlands Ranch Wildlife Experience Workshop. Again, I thought all those things we talked about. This is a little bit overcast. So we didn't have to worry about the angle a lot. This is slightly backlit, uh, as I recall, because no, yeah, because it was more of the middle of the day. I am facing north when I shot this picture because I remember where we were. And so the background's a good distance away. I'll watch the edges, make sure another move to a spot. And I remember the shot because the first time I tried to shoot this picture of this bull, there was another bison that was kind of creeping in from the left. So I moved just a couple of feet so I could get this shot, this picture of this bison really clean, framed him up like I wanted to, and then shot the picture. And so with sloths, it's easy to get a low angle because they're always up in the trees. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, usually in my mind, again, not universal, but as a good starting point, eye level or below with wildlife is you can hardly ever go wrong with that angle. Because again, if you're at eye level with it, it goes back to choosing your backgrounds. It helps define the way those backgrounds are going to look, as opposed to if you're standing up and looking almost straight down on an animal. You can see there, that's another good example of the layers of the background. We've got the bush close to it. We've got the yucca a little bit further away. Then we've got the other vegetation far off. You can see how as the background gets further away from the animal, from the subject, the background gets more and more blurry. Now, if I had a choice, would I love those yuccas and that one bush to be gone and just get that good clean background in the back? I think I would. But this is the first Texas bear I ever, not the first Texas bear I ever saw, but the first Texas bear I ever photographed. And that was in Big Bend National Park. That was last summer when I was there, just on a scouting trip. Just went out there for fun and looking around and was able to. My wife actually spotted him where he was on the side of the road and we're driving around, and just a beautiful shot. But try to be mindful of when I shot the picture because I've got control of when I press the button, and I tried to wait for him to be in the ideal spot, eye level or lower, shoot the picture. And so on landscape shots, this is in Acadia National Park. I'll usually start with my tripod with like me standing up and try to visualize what it's going to look like. But sometimes I might go a little bit lower. Uh, I have tried shooting pictures of really low landscape shots, like across rocks like this, and I'm just not very good at it. So I think for me and the compositions I like, again, wildlife, you start with the angle. I'm going to start at eye level and lower. With landscapes, I'm going to be a little bit higher just to kind of explore and see what it looks like. So I love drone shots. I just love higher angles when it comes to livestock, livestock. When it comes to landscape shots, I just love higher angles. And so that's why I tend to start at a higher angle. Again, something to consider. This is a waterfall in Great Smoky Mountain National Park. This is pretty easy to start from a higher vantage point just because that's where the trail leads you. You can get lower, but I think this waterfall looks best because you can see all the details of where the water's flowing from. You can see the details of where the water's flowing out from. You get a lot better view of all the leaves on the rocks around. It's just to me that's a superior composition than one that I've made when I've got lower to the water. And even this one, this is below the big waterfall, but it's above the lower falls. So that's the decision I made. And that's where maybe the little bit of exception to the rule. If I'd have got higher than the big waterfall, you lose detail in the close waterfalls. But, because it's all the high waterfall, the lower waterfalls, and everything in between, it's an ensemble cast. Everything's important to the picture. And so when I shot this picture, I chose to be just probably about eye level. I'm 5'9", so it's probably standing up and made the composition from there when I shot this picture.